Welcome to the Small Business Office Showcase, where daily we provide you a quick tour of a government agency's small business portal or the like from a large prime. We understand that as a small business, time and resources are limited. We hope by quickly summarizing this information, we save you time and perhaps put you one step closer to your next contract. In this episode, we'll focus on the Department of Energy. To make it easier for you to quickly do your own research, the information you see on this slide is in the video description below. In each episode, we're targeting 6 pieces of information we think are most valuable to you. And if found, we provide the direct links to that information. As you can see from this slide, the 6 items are: does this agency have a small business portal? Does this agency list out events it hosts or attends so you can plan well in advance? Is there a forecast for the next 12 to 24 months that will help you identify opportunities? Does the agency provide a list of current primes that have an obligation to subcontract to small businesses? Is there any special registration required for this agency other than what is required for the entire federal government? And then finally, is there a list of people available that you can reach out to for help or to get questions answered? You can see the basic results on this slide, but let's go ahead and take a quick tour. I already have the links opened in new tabs. And so right here, the first one is, does it have an OSDBoost site? And it does. You come here and you can see that it's got a pretty decent site with more information as you cruise along into it. And then scrolling down, you'll notice they have a blog, and they're trying to communicate information out, which is good. They're letting you know about some events that are coming up. One thing that a little disappointing is that the blog is not that populated, obviously, since August. And I'm just curious on whether they've used a different forum for communicating out, like maybe Twitter or something. But anyways, it has a site, and that's good to go. Let's go back to our main page here. Next, we're going to be looking at the events. And so here, it's got a good site for events. It's got a clear calendar that makes it easy for us to plan as busy marketers or small business people were coming in. I like looking at this because not only can I see what events does Department of Energy have, but as I go through a couple of months out, which clearly all of us are trying to do, you start seeing events that are out there that are broader than just for energy. For example, you saw the National 8A conference that's out there, and then there's some of these other conferences, the National Small Business Federal Contracting Conference. As a small business, I'd be curious on that kind of stuff. And by looking from agency after agency after agency, you begin to see this pattern of events that are out there. Here's an OPM one that looks pretty good for people to be able to attend. So they have a good calendar. Huge thumbs up on that. And then the next one is forecast. Let's go ahead and take a look at their forecast. First, we'll take a look at their page. When you land on their page, you'll get their guidance right here on just how they expect you to move forward. Again, this is not a tutorial video. It's a tour video. So I'm just going to go through this really quickly, but I recommend you come back if you want to do business with the Department of Energy and learn the process on how they do it. Just so you know, all the way down at the bottom is where you get to the acquisition forecast, and I'm going to flip over to that now. This is a really good forecast as far as I can tell looking at it. It's got good, clean information. If I want to search on my NAICS code, for example, I'm a kind of an IT person, so 5441, for example. 2 things tell me. One is, all right, well, there's only one opportunity they're forecasting. But the other is there's 143 records in here, so there's a lot of information. One of us listening is going to find opportunities with energy out there. So you can search as you go across. If you're trying to sit there and decide who to go after, you can look at the incumbents, and maybe you can reach out to see if there's subcontracting opportunities. If you've never done business with energy or any department, you generally want to subcontract first to get your feet wet, and these are the people who can help you do that. Coming over here, you see the basic information. I'm not teaching about forecast, but I am looking at the quality of this forecast. I do like how it allows me to be able to see whether it's full and open, whether it's coming out set aside or not. That information is really helpful. But the part I thought was very useful to you is right here. You see all these contacts, these people you can reach out to. They're the contracting officers. I don't know, CS, like contracting specialists, I assume that is, working with the CO. But this is awesome. So, when you want to learn more information about any of these opportunities, or really just to start knocking on Energy's doors, they're giving you the name of people that you can reach out to. Michael Lang, for example, as a small business program officer, I'd be curious on whether his contact information is actually in the next page we're going to look at. So that's the forecast. They did a great job on the forecast. Let me come back to our main page. Subcontracting, I wasn't able to find anywhere where we could see the current contracts that are out there. Now, I alluded to it with the forecast, but that's different than seeing a list of current vendors that are under contract that are obligated to contract with a small business. For example, if you have an 8A firm and they got a $5 million contract, I don't think they're obligated at all. But if you're a large firm or it's full and open, then you start having some of that obligation. So it'd be nice to see the list. The registration, again, I didn't see anything special in there, so it looks like, and I would have thought the energy might have put me through a little more hoops. So I'm not sure if I missed it. Hopefully the Department of Energy will correct us if we're missing any of that, and I'll update this video if that's the case. And then the last one to look at are the contacts that are available to us. Right here we have the small business points of contact, and this is pretty small. I'm not sure why. Let me see if I can refresh this really quick. There you go. So this is great. It's not just headquarters Department of Energy, but you begin to look at all the components of energy, and they're all around the country. Maybe you only want to target people with a certain class, like operation office, or you're only looking to do business with the people who are in town with you, like in Texas. This is very handy. Right here, it looks like it's got a good set of directories. This is awesome. I mean, it's a little old for these guys, but this thing is awesome. Let's go ahead and click on that one really quick. And in here is the part that can be really helpful to all of us as we're trying to reach out and do business within the Department of Energy. Here's the different points of contact. See their names, their roles, all the information that you would want to be able to reach out to them. Keep coming on down. They've got a lot, and so when we look at this, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but 16 pages, you know you're going to come out with a lot of good contact information in there to be able to learn about the Department of Energy and get your questions answered. Let me go ahead and go back to the main page there. That concludes this walkthrough. I hope you found this information helpful as you continue to grow your business. Please provide any comments below or reach out to me directly if you have questions using my email address in the description. I'm your host, Neil McDonnell with SV MacPack. I thank you for joining me today and hope you'll join me again for more video tours.